Did you know that the NFL is run by a bunch of morons? What? That can't be true. The only reason they buy these teams is because A, they have too much money, or B, they love to show how big their little wee-wee is. And boy, decisions are made. And a lot of the times, those decisions are very dumb. And these dumb decisions are typically at the expense of the fans. Why are these moves made? It could be either to get a key player, or the decision is made to get rid of a player that the owner no longer likes, to bring in somebody that nobody in the public actually likes. And nothing cracks me up more than one of these morons gets a big whopping dose of seller's remorse. Seller's remorse is the feeling of sadness or regret after selling a commodity that has emotional and financial value to the seller. Oftentimes, people experience seller's remorse when they sell an item such as a house, collector's item, or a franchise quarterback after making the worst trade/signing in NFL history. It's a tale as old as time. Beauty and the Beast. These owners think that they're making the smartest decision possible, and I just personally love it when these guys come back in and drop a big, hefty dump right on their chest. Here's a list of a few players that have done that in the past. Drew Brees, Charles Woodson, Marshall Faulk, Matthew Stafford, and our most recent winner is Baker Mayfield. I've talked about Baker a lot, but I personally love Baker. And he's been done dirty way too many times. And he's finally getting a shot with the Buccaneers that he deserves. Pushing past the super wild card round, surpassing his original team. Talk about the Browns stepping in a massive steamy pile of shit. But to understand how we got here, we have to talk about the Browns owner, Mr. Jimothy Haslam, who clearly knows everything and would never do anything shady to get ahead. I hope Jimothy takes a long look in the mirror and realizes life is not greener on the other side of the massage table. So who the fuck is Jimothy Haslam? And why does he continue the Browns' perpetual quarterback curse? To get to know our dear sweet boy Jimothy, we have to know his father, James. Papa Haslam was born in 1930 and founded the Pilot Oil Company in 1958. You know, the Pilot truck stops across the country. Buc-ee's for life! Pilot became very successful, acquiring multiple different smaller companies across the country, with the largest and most recent purchase of Flying J truck stops, you know, the armpit of truck stops. Well, our boy Jimothy took over the company from his daddy. He started the Pilot Oil Company in 1976 as VP of Sales. You know, the starting position of most people. Why am I talking like Colonel Sanders? No fucking idea. He lives in Tennessee. He doesn't even live in fucking Cleveland. After hard work and determination, Jimothy Haslam earned his right as CEO of Pilot Flying J Companies. And he was forced to step down in 2013 after a massive FBI investigation into the company. What is this investigation, you ask? Fraud. So he stepped down as CEO and became chairman of the board, naturally. Basically what I'm saying is garbage and fuckery follow this man everywhere he goes. Jimothy walking red flag Haslam had a little bit of a fraud incident where multiple members of his senior staff at Pilot Flying J were prosecuted, but he wasn't because he didn't have any knowledge of a $50 million fraud scheme. They sold fake amounts of gas to different trucking companies across the nation. Oh shit, I'm sorry, it was $56 million, not 50. And I quote, allegedly, Jimothy Haslam was not charged and faces allegations of knowledge about the fraud. Racially offensive comments by Pilot's former president also emerged. Despite these issues, the NFL has not pursued discipline against Haslam, leaving his status as the Browns owner unaffected. The article explores potential implications for Haslam and the team. That was 2013, so nothing happened. Why? Because money talks. Oh, but our boy Jimothy doesn't start there. He came in with even more legal issues, as he's currently under a federal investigation right now for allegedly giving money to different pilot locations to then boost the stock so he could sell his additional 20% to Berkshire Hathaway. Mr. Oogie Boogie himself, Warren Buffett. So basically by giving money to these different truck stops, it inflates the numbers, and then Pilot Flying J stock price goes up, meaning that Warren Buffett and his company has to pay Jimothy Haslam more. His name's not Jimothy, by the way. It's Jimmy, but Jimothy is funnier. Jimothy Haslam then gets more money when Berkshire Hathaway takes over his shares of the company. Fuckery follows this man everywhere. Needless to say, he doesn't give a shit about anything unless it potentially gets him ahead. Other than that, he's a stand-up guy and would never hire anybody that would tarnish his reputation. We're not going to get into the backstory. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now, if you are a fan of the Cleveland Browns, I need you to know that I am on your side, and I feel sorry for you that your owner has fucked you over so many times, and you just have to sit there and take it. I would be rioting and filling the streets if I had to deal with this situation. I'm doing the election hand. I'm so irritated for you guys. The Browns traded their entire franchise away for Deshaun Watson. And here's who the Texans picked up with those picks. Will Anderson, probably Defensive Rookie of the Year. Tank Dell, breakout wide receiver. Damian Pierce, starting running back. Kenyon Green, guard, shows a lot of promise, injured right now. And Christian Harris, stud linebacker. Those are 5 players that the Browns could have on their team right now. Could you imagine Will Anderson on the Browns defense? Like, what? Browns, your team is good. Again, ownership let you down. We're talking about ownership, not Browns fans. Let's not even forget to mention the $200 million guaranteed. Again, stepped in a steamy pile of it. Deshaun Watson's cap hit goes as follows. 2022, $9 million. 2023, $19 million. 24, $64, 25, $64, 26, $64 million. 27, $8 million. This was your last year, Cleveland. This, because of the contract, was your last year to do it. And the guy that was signed doesn't even want to play fucking football. The guy you had clearly does, Jimothy. And I think this is a problem with a lot of the NFL right now, is that nobody wants to take the time to develop anybody. Look at the fucking Packers right now. Look what they're doing with Jordan Love, who sat behind Aaron Rodgers, who learned, and who they didn't pull when they were struggling. What the fuck? You remember the fucking head coaches that you gave Baker Mayfield? Freddie Kitchens? Who was the other dude that sucked really bad before Freddie Kitchens? Come on, man. What do you expect him to do when you put him in losing situations? Again, all this rich moron wants is immediate satisfaction. Kind of like Robert Kraft, but we're not going to talk about that either. It's always about putting the minimal effort forward. If it's not right now, it's not going to happen. Kind of like this YouTube channel. Hardly any views starting out, but you got to grow it somewhere. Let's look at Baker's contract numbers right now. So with the Browns 2021, $10 million. He was cut then for Deshaun, went to the Rams for $1.5 million. Now, to be fair, I know that his 5th-year option was not picked up, so he didn't sign the bigger contract with the Browns. Last year, signed with the Bucks, $1.7 million. This year with the Bucks, $2.3 million. And he just took the Buccaneers farther in the playoffs with an arguably worse roster, thus expanding the Browns' quarterback curse. All he's been doing is balling out. And all he ever did, and all he ever wanted to do, was ball out and play football and not care about the fucking glamour. Sure, you can argue Baker threw more interceptions, but look who he had as his fucking head coach. Who was drawing up his offensive schemes versus who Deshaun Watson had? If you look at it at a macro level, Baker Mayfield technically has one less year in the NFL, and like Deshaun has 2 sort of off years. Obviously, Deshaun quit playing football these last 2 years and suspended. Baker didn't have a team. Baker still has 13 more touchdowns with 1 less year in the NFL. Because we're dumb sports fans, the only thing that matters is touchdowns. He did throw 29 more interceptions, but again, who did he have on his team then? You can't tell me that with this current roster and those draft picks, that the Browns would be Super Bowl champions at the end of this year. Now, the Browns will be stuck in cap hell for the next 2 years, with what seems like over 30% of their cap space is going to a quarterback who doesn't want to play football. Jimothy, I hope the Sellers Remorse is so strong. And Baker, we're proud of you. Keep kicking ass. And Deshaun, go away. Thanks everybody for checking out Dad Bod Sports. Like, subscribe, comment, the works. See you guys on Monday.